Hi, I'm Krisstina with Ninja Pirate, and this is a contact staff fundamental. I'm going to teach you a full halo that goes wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist. Now it's important to learn the whole halo and not just the bounce over your head, because then it translates to further moves like wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist, wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist, wrist, shoulder, 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 wrist. In order to do this, we're going to take the staff in our right hand and we're going to point it down towards the ground in front of us as though we were the back side of a triangle and this wick is the front point. We're going to rotate it thumb side on our right hand. We're holding it just above the center point so that it locks in this thumb lock between your thumb side, this wrist lock between your thumb side and the outside of your wrist. It's going to maintain that same angle of a triangle that we started with when you flip. Get your thumb out of the way. You want to hold it like this. Don't do that. So flip it on your wrist. Now the next thing we're going to do, all we're doing is taking our hand and putting it to our chest. It's like prayer position, except that you're putting your pinky side up and creating these two little chicken wings that you'll find to be really useful in all sorts of contact staff moves. When we flip it over and it's still at that diagonal, then we're going to take the front width from this wrist lock, and all we do is bring our hand to our heart, but we let it pass over the right side of our head until it's sitting on our shoulder and in that wrist lock. And to practice that, you can just put it on your right shoulder, sneak your hand underneath it, and learn how to get it in and out of that wrist lock. Once you've figured that out, you're going to use that little chicken wing that you've made in your whole shoulder to kind of bounce the staff over. Now you notice we're starting in this triangle, and when it gets up to your shoulder like that, we have inverted the angle of the triangle. And it is that angle that makes it pass over your head smoothly, and it will be the other side of that inverted triangle. So again, this is what we have so far. One more time. Now, you're trying to get from right here in this lock point, not off the top of your shoulder, to right here in this lock point. And if you go ahead and put this other hand where it belongs, on your chest before you start, you can just, if you go ahead and put this other hand where it belongs on your chest, it will be there for you to just pass down with the staff in this direction. And again, you can put it on your left shoulder, sneak your wrist up under, and pass it over the left, pass the back wick over the left side of your head until you're back in that triangle position. So it goes from the pointy triangle to the inverted triangle and back to the pointy triangle at the end. After you've done all that, the next step would just be to start in this last wrist lock, which is thumb and outside wrist, and flip the staff like you would in a conveyor belt back into the position that starts. And in going from this direction, it helps to turn 180 degrees to the left every time that the staff passes over. Wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist, wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist, wrist, shoulder, shoulder, wrist,